these cards are very big compared to other things that I've seen.
We also have cards that are smaller. We call them medium-sized cards. They are A6 size. They are about this size, the size of ordinary cards. They have an advantage in that they're not as heavy, so you can carry them around with you. They're small, they can be in your pocket. I like to use them in combination with the big cards, because when I ask people to choose a card, sometimes if a feeling is very intense, they choose a big card. Sometimes if the feeling is too intense, they choose a small card because the feeling is too much for them. So when people choose a card and talk about it, I sometimes ask them, why did you choose the big card? Why did you choose the small card? What does the big card make you feel? What does the small card make you feel? The big size cards have more detail. In other words, it's the same card, but since it's bigger, you see it better. For instance, this card is a good example. This is a card of people painting under a tree. Now, in the small size, you just pay attention to the tree and the two figures painting, and you don't really notice that there's other figures. You don't really notice the branches that well. This card, when it's big, it gives much more a feeling of roots, of rootedness, maybe something happy in the future, maybe something stable in the past. People use this card sometimes to describe a stable family that they came from, living in nature. In the small version, it's less effective.
What can you say about this lady?
Oh, this lady is amazing. This lady is so sure of herself. Now, when she's a smaller version, she's also sure of herself, but then I ask the person, why didn't you choose the large card? And they usually say, because I'm not that sure. I'm a little bit sure.
What usages does this deck of cards have? And then how does it help you in your work?
This deck of cards is very useful to me in my work, because whenever a client comes in and doesn't know how to talk about exactly what he wants to talk about, what the issue is, I ask him, choose this card that describes the issue, the dilemma, the conflict, somebody in your life you don't get along with, somebody in your life you love, your past, your present, your future. You can ask many questions, and then people project on the cards to get the answer.
Do you work with the cards only individually?
No, we have groups. I conduct groups working with the cards, and then everybody in the group chooses a card according to the question. For instance, at the beginning of a session, I might ask, where are you today? Choose a card that describes where you are today, or that signifies for you where you are today.
What brought you to develop this deck of cards?
I work in the psychiatric unit of a hospital, and we do a lot of talk work. And I realized that talking therapy is not such a good answer for many people. It's part of the therapy, but it's not the only therapy. So then I bought cards. I bought lots of decks of cards, all the cards I could find, but they didn't really get at all the problems and all the issues that I wanted. Also, in addition, I work with students, and the students don't always know what questions to ask. So I wanted cards that pull out of people their innermost issues, and also I wanted questions that would help anybody working with them work with the person, with the client. So we have pictures. Here's another picture. And then the questions always have the same format. I start from very easy, very general. Who are the figures in the picture? Give each figure a name. Where are they? What is most significant in the picture? Give the picture a name. And then I get more specific. What does each figure feel? Describe the story of what happened before this picture. Tell the story from the point of view of the big figure, I, present tense. Tell a story from the point of view of the small figure, I, present tense. What can be changed in the picture so the picture will be happier? What do you like about this picture? What gives you a good feeling? So at the end, we always end with something good.
It seems to be a wonderful aid for your work.
It really helps me in my work, because never have I had anybody who came in who couldn't find some card that describes something that's going on in him. And so it helps people make explicit what is implicit. People who are not aware of what is implicit and they need help in getting in touch with their feelings or their deeper issues, can always choose a card that helps them get in touch with their deeper issues. And that's why the cards are so important. They're not just simple projective cards, because then we also have the questions. So the person speaking with the client never is at a loss of what to ask, what to say, how to get there.